Hi, Mike DePung here, and I'm glad that if you're watching this, you're sitting here with me on what I've called Spirit Hill. It's a place where we can sit together and talk about healing and love and light. I would like to be able to speak directly with any of you, and if any of you ever wish to do that, you can let me know in the comments below, and we'll get in touch one way or another. I'll see to that. I've talked about this concept of healing. We come here as spirit incarnate. But to become incarnate, we needed an operating system called ego. In addition to that, though, we are spirit, and that spirit part of us I've called heart. There are these polarities. And when we come here to this plane of existence, healing is implicit because ego and heart are polar opposites in a way. And yet they're beautiful because they're supposed to be here. They're supposed to be together. It gives us an ability to sense and to live in and experience all of this physicality, all of this that we have been co-creators of. And when we came here, we chose to do this. We wanted to do this. And so we come here. Ego helps us with physical realizations of how we fit in with society, because as humans coming into this form, we're social creatures. But it also lets us know, ego has very important jobs of letting us know when we're uncomfortable, when there are responses in this physical world that, I won't even say response, when there are feelings, when there are things of discomfort or pain or ecstasy or joy. There are different things that ego clues us into. This is good, this is bad. And it has its own function. And heart has its own function. But we come here, ego is default because we're humans, and that's very important. But we as humans that are spirit too, we have this heart operating system we come with, that we bring with us here. And there's this point where we toggle, where we choose to go to heart to help us filter, process, and experience life, to respond to life rather than just react to it. And that's a really important thing that we might talk about more at some point. So we have these polar opposites, and there's this reconciliation of these various and numerous conflicts that arise because we have within us these polar opposites. We have these two operating systems, and when we don't choose heart, and say, I want to be aware of my divinity, aware of the power and peace that I have within, of the ability that I have to tune in to the unity of all of this that exists, we're going to have conflicts because ego is going to say, but what about this? But what about that? We sense the need to heal, though. Usually we sense that need when we hear what a lot of people have called like this still small voice within, this whispering. Sometimes it's shouting, where we come to this point of, hey, something's not right. That's heart saying, hey, you brought me here. I'm part of you. Choose me to deal with these things. Let me give you, I'm going to give you a couple of personal examples of this. Before I was as awakened as I am now, before I was aware of the fullness that I have come to, even though I have many things that I still need to heal, and it's a process that continues as long as we're here on this earth. But two things that I wanted to share with you. One, when I was young, that was a long time ago, I was in school in a career choice that I'm not going to name because I wouldn't want to offend anybody in it, because my response is not the same as anybody else's, and we're all unique. But I came to a point where there was a struggle in me because I felt that the things that I was learning and what I knew they would lead to, what would be the practice in a very professional job, would be things that I felt would be physically harmful to other humans. And it was also philosophically opposed to what I believed. In my youthful naivete, I quit. I quit school. Could have been a really good job. I could have made a lot of money. And ego, that's where ego comes in. Hey, you're doing this. You're doing really well. You're on the dean's list. You have the ear of professors here. You're going to be able to do really well. Ego was telling me that you're going to make a lot of money. Life will be easy. But there was this part of me saying, no, don't do it. This isn't who you really are. This isn't your truth. You have seen things. You have discerned this because of me. And at that point, I didn't know fully that it was heart. However, I did have the wisdom of my mother that was with me, even though she was gone by that point, had transitioned from this plane. She had always told me, follow your heart, follow the precepts of your heart, follow those intents. And I knew I had to just not do it. Another time came a few years later when I was working for a company, and again, it was a professional job. It was in the science part of the manufacturing industry, being in an area of science as an engineering lab technician. And at one point in our process, we had been doing all these tests and storing up these things. There were drums and drums and drums of this stuff that we would have had to dispose of in other ways. It was basically toxic waste. It wasn't super toxic, but it was stuff that we weren't legally supposed to be dumping, although it wouldn't matter in terms of the sewer district catching us. But at one point during this my tenure at this job, I was told, working on a night shift, to dump these drums of stuff down the sewer line because the sewer district wouldn't have to or wouldn't be able to detect it because other bad effluents were not going to be there at the same time, so the levels would be low enough that it would be undetectable. And I said, no way, because I was, even way back then, I cared about Mother Earth. I cared about the environment. I cared about our health and our relationship to it all. And I basically just said, no, I'm not going to do that. And that night, I gave them my 2 weeks notice and told them I wouldn't be doing that over the course of the next 2 weeks. So these were times where, even though I couldn't have voiced the truths that are my truths now that I share here, but I did know that I couldn't do those things. Ego was saying, this is a job, you've got a good thing going here, don't let it go. And it was scary for me, both times, to quit when I had invested so much of myself into these things. So, just a couple. Heart has answers for these things, but we are meant to awaken to the fact that we are spirit incarnate, that we have heart that is spirit, that's our primary operating system. We came here to live and process and get answers through. Heart is always there with answers. The ego will always have questions, but what about this? But what about that? And the heart indeed has answers. And there are a million other things that I've had questions for along the way, induced by ego, that heart always will have answers for. Questions I still haven't even asked, I'm quite sure, that I know, I count on, I know now. And so for us to be here in this realm of healing, where we desire to heal because we do deep down at our core, at our essence, we are heart and we want to heal. We want to go through this wonderful process of reconciling these polarities as part of why we came. So healing is inherent in our existence here. Doesn't mean that we're defective because we need to heal. It means it's the nature of who and what we are. And when you sit with me here, I'm just sharing my experience, my truth, what I've seen, and maybe it will help you. Maybe your heart will respond to it, will resonate with, my heart will resonate with yours, and we'll come up with this. I want to give an example of this. this might come from my teaching days where it's good to have some examples. So I'm going to pick up something here and I want to show you this. This is a radio. You might say, where do we get these energies? Where do you sense these things? Last week I talked about, and I'm going to speak about it again, about hearing a rock. And I showed you the rock that I sat on. I wanted to shoot outside today, but it's really windy and it's rained off and on, so I'm not able to do that. But I thought, okay, I've got something here I want to show you right now. Listen. You really don't hear anything unless you kind of hear the roar of an air conditioner in the background a little bit. We're not getting any signals. Sometimes that's the way many people live. Henry David Thoreau said that the mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. They just resign and they don't realize that they have heart and that they can turn on that heart operating system. They can toggle to that. And that's just like turning on the power to this radio. Now you can hear something. Doesn't sound like much, does it? Because now we can tune into frequencies. And so we just
deadlier Nipah virus in 2018.
Oh.
Experience and the state's long history of investing in public health, Kerala won global praise for how it dealt with the first.
Turning it off. But now I could get a message. And that was on a very specific frequency. It was there. Now, just because I turn that off, does that mean those frequencies aren't here? No, it doesn't. It means that to get the message, to get something useful, I have to turn on my heart operating system. This is the analogy, to turn on my heart operating system and tune in and to listen and to hear, to seek help from those energies that are all around us, and those are spirit energies. Spirit energy manifests in spirits that are unique frequencies in all of life around us, in all of the world around us. Yes, in a rock, in a tree, in stones, in crystals, in feathers and birds, in animals. These are all things. It depends on what resonates with you. And so it's no wonder that a couple of weeks ago, when I asked for help from the spirits, that I knew I needed focus. My mind was diffuse. I felt disoriented and confused. I needed to be grounded in a very specific way, a very specific energy and frequency. And I asked for that. And I felt the beat of Mother Earth. I felt that rhythm. But I knew I wasn't hearing clearly still. And I said, I need something else. And when we do that, when we turn on that heart energy and we say, I need a specific frequency. Yeah, I heard that stone. I didn't hear it yelling out to me like the kids up on the hill screaming. I heard, though, this spirit hearing. I heard this rock say, come, I'm here. And so it's not so weird for me to hear a rock or birds, because part of my healing experience has been through nature, something I didn't really ask for, but it's come to me as I sought, as I explored myself, that innerscape, as I explored and I knew I needed healing. The answers started coming, my intuition. I turned my heart energy on. I listened, I heard, I acknowledged it. I looked in the mirror, I saw the eyes behind the eyes that were staring back at me, and I knew that there was part of me, and not part of me, but all of me, that was spirit. I knew that I had come here as spirit incarnate, and so I can tune in. There are these multitudes of frequencies that are the essence of spirit all around us. And we can tune into what we need, and they will answer. They are here for us. Spirits are here for us. And so I got that. The rock said, come, sit on me. Feel Mother Earth beneath me. Get really, truly grounded. And while I sat there, I had other answers too. In fact, I want to share this Wasn't sure that I would, but I want to share this because when we heal, we have responses to healing usually. We have some way that we express that. We express spirit, essence of us to the world that is healed. And mine, and there are things that I will talk about at some point along the way as we move along here. There are various expressions because we all have skills that we've acquired, talents that are natural, abilities, ways to use those skills. We each have our own way. And part of mine is through words and communicating and writing and speaking and teaching that I've done in different ways throughout my life. I've done other things with enthusiasm and joy, but this is where I've come to. And so my response to this healing over the last couple of weeks, almost every night now, or every day at some point, I'm out there on that rock for a little bit, even just a couple minutes. And I have this, that spirit is shared with me that I share with you now in the form of a poem. So I'm going to have to read this, so I'll be looking down some. And I'm not totally content with the title right now, but I've called this Rock Magic is Here. The whispered words, distinct and warm, reached the soul, distressed and airy, scattered beyond focus. You search for me, I am here. The raw sienna of the rough face radiated invitations of connection, of the rhythmic beat from the pulsing womb of the one beneath all. A personal portal, we know what you wish. I am here. Drawing closer, I felt the base of Mother Earth herself. Why do you wait? Sit. I am here. The depression on the face of that rock embraced me. Its warmth coursed upward through my soul. My sightless fingertips stroked, sensed, recorded the warm, tawny surface around me. I am here. The rock relaxed and echoed. We are here. The deep, throaty whisper stopped not then, for above me songs floated in from realms of magic only feet away. Bluebird, cardinal, and crow did say to me, delight in unknown, and hear our song. Share your colors and voice, and from this place of rhythm sweet, create the words given each new day, as encouraged by Gaia, us, to all those who wish to know healing in love and light. We are here. Rock and birds and Gaia joined to show the magic of life beyond all sense, the magic, whether whispering, singing, flying right past. We are here. If you're here for healing and love and light, you're here and you sense a conflict going on, you sense that you're just at a point where you know that you're on the verge of awakening to this great energy that is ours, this divinity within, tune in. Turn that heart energy on and tune it to what you need. Ask the spirits about you to help. You'll get the right frequency and you'll get the right message. And I just wanted to share this today. It's from my heart. And I'm thankful that you're here with me for healing and love and light. And before I go, I did want to acknowledge a couple of things. I had Kelsey, who became a new follower here on the channel, and I appreciate that. And Jake, I appreciate the comment that you made on my last video. So for all of you, thank you for being here and for listening. And if nobody else hears, the spirits have heard. So thank you.